I spent some time yesterday doing my taxes in the morning, and that bummed me out because it turns out that I've got to pay quite a bit of money, which essentially killed my Mustang dreams for now. So I was feeling bad, and I decided to go today to a swap meet to do a little retail therapy. And actually, I originally went to the swap meet because it was a car auction, and there was a lot of really cool classic cars that were for sale. And one in particular, it was a 1974 Chevrolet Corvette. And what made this Corvette kind of special was it was a 454 V8 with a 4-speed manual transmission. It was just a really cool car that looked like it was untouched from whenever it was parked. So I had watched the price hover around $3,000, and I thought, gosh, if a guy could get that for $3,000 or $3,500, it would be worth just buying it and holding on to it and kind of working on it a little at a time. I'm not a Corvette guy, but I've been watching a lot of videos about Corvettes and thinking, you know what, a guy's got to own a little bit of something at some point and get it out of his system so that he can decide, okay, not for me, or hey, this is something and I kind of like it. So, but with the tax news, I decided I couldn't afford it, wasn't going to bid, although I did get a bidder number, and I just decided to just watch it. During that time, there was a swap meet going on, and I started walking around there with a few $100s in my pocket, and lo and behold, I started finding all kinds of stuff. So this video is about all that, and I also might have picked up another vehicle, if you can call it that. So let's dive right in, and we'll have some fun. I have no intention of bidding on anything today, but there's a lot of cool stuff here. There were a lot of cool cars, and I was having a good time looking at them, but I really needed to get over to the swap meet because the good deals go fast. And so and also it was in my price range. Right away, temptation started to rear its ugly head. This was something I could just get into. It only had a 6-cylinder engine, but it had 5-lug wheels, and the car looked good. And the price was amazing. No! But just like when you're training a dog, you have to say, leave it, leave it. So I left it. And right next to it was this classic beauty sporting some big block Mopar engine with a price of only $950 on it. It was something that a guy would be crazy to walk away from. But again, I did. This is a 1972 Alfa Romeo GTV. This car is a classic, and it's one that I've always lusted for. Now, this is not quite a car, it's just a shell, but the owner, the guy that I bought it from, said that he bought it from a guy who had a body shop. I guess it was an abandoned project, and these things rust like crazy. This car does not have rust. And so the price was right, and I immediately gave him a deposit, and I'm hoping to have it delivered in the next couple of days. I'll probably run some more footage of it as we go here, so you can kind of see just how solid this thing is. In addition to my shell of a car, I also picked up a few other items. The Falcon that I have does not have a rear view mirror. It does, but it's floppy. And so I managed to pick up this mirror, which is from a 67 Cougar, and it has a remote control. So I'm going to install that in the Falcon, and that should allow me to be able to see back. Another thing I picked up was something, it seems like I'm always picking things up for things that I don't have. These heads are 351 Windsor heads. The good thing about them is that they are from 1970, and they are what is called a closed chamber combustion head. And so these run a lot higher compression than a normal head, and then they also have fairly large valves. And so these heads can be used on both a 351 Windsor and a 302, but they will improve the performance of either of those engines. just because they were made pre-smog. And I met this guy named Craig. Actually, that's where I got almost all of this stuff except for the mirror. But I met this guy named Craig, and I asked him about T5 transmissions. I was looking at a bell housing for a 4-speed, and then he said, well, I've got a T5 bell housing. And so he sure enough did. And it was $40 for this, basically, but it comes with everything, down to the throwout bearing, I believe. And so all I really need is a clutch and pressure plate for whatever I decide to put that on. And I'm thinking about that Cleveland. I can actually use that with a starter and a flywheel to crank that Cleveland over to get it running on a test stand. So, but it gets better. This guy had 2 T5 transmissions that needed to be rebuilt. And he said I could have them for $100. He didn't have them there, and so I've got his number, and I plan to go over there. He's a really nice guy. We had a good chat, and he has said he's built his last car, and he's really just getting rid of stuff. And so I'm hoping to go over there with a few $100 and leave with a Element full of stuff. So he kind of threw this in, but it's since I told him I had a Falcon, he said that this was an original air cleaner for a Falcon. It's kind of cool because it has the air filter kind of in here, and so I'll probably mount that. I don't know what's special about that, but it might help the car look more original if I wanted to do that. And then I also picked up these roller rockers from him for a small block Ford. And so these are for a, I said 302 already. They're 1.6 ratio roller rockers, and essentially what they do is you don't have to have a cam in a car. If you install these, you get an additional bit of lift out of the same rockers. So they're 1.6 versus 1.5, I believe. And this is a complete set. He said the box was in good shape until it rained on it last night. But I got those for $10, so that's a really good deal. So I got a lot of cool stuff along with the car that I got that hopefully will be delivered in the next couple of days. And some promise of more transmissions, and I'm going to probably try to learn to rebuild a T5. So I'm super excited and have cheered up a lot from my tax woes. With that, let's go visit that Corvette auction and see how that turned out.
And this is a 1974 Chevrolet Corvette. It's got that 454 and the 4-speed in there. Rear-wheel drive manual. We didn't get it started. It has the front bumpers. You can see some issues here. We did not get it started. But it is that 454 blue car with the 4-speed manual, T-tops, AC, power windows, power steering, power brakes, and it does have a clean New Mexico title. Driver, move us up a little.
All right, and I'm B42, now 3, but I go 43.
I just happened to be standing next to the owner of the car, who had acquired the car when his neighbor moved, and he stored the car for the neighbor, eventually acquiring the car. The car never moved the entire time he had it, but it was running when it was parked, in quotation marks. So any money he got for it, he was happy about, and I expected it to go a lot higher than it did, but it did not do that. So we'll see where it ends up here.
Now 55, 5,500, better go 55, better go 55, better go 5, better go 5, better go 5, better go 55, better go 5,500. I'm at 54 on the floor, now 5, 55, thank you, now 6, 56, 56, better go 6, better go 6, better go 6, better go 6, better go 56, better go 6, 56, 1,600, yes, no, gotta go, 56, better go 56, better go 56. Sold it, 5,500, bidder number 132, bidder number 132.
Somebody bid 60.
All right, next up is lot number 13. Move us up a little bit, driver.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah. Okay. You get a half smile.
All right.
And we'll finish with this little beauty I saw as I walked out the door. Thanks for joining me as I tried to cheer myself up, and I hope that I could put these parts to good use and get that car delivered. Have a great day.